Hey everyone, this is Stephanie and we are back with a really fun tutorial today. We are going to show you this cute back to school photo that you can create with your child. Okay, so when you get your product, you will have both a folder of all the individual layers of this Photoshop file. So if you're not using Photoshop, you will have all of those layers that make this up. But if you have Photoshop, just disregard that whole folder and open up your Photoshop file. It'll end in .psd. Just go ahead and open that right into Photoshop and you'll see all of these layers here. And then you're also going to want to go ahead and grab the image of your subject. Here's what we did for ours. We put him on a white backdrop and I put a speed light right in front of him, and it's pointing the light at the wall in front of him and bouncing off of that wall and coming back. If you don't have a speed light, you can just put them in front of a window. You don't want to put them in front of a window when there's bright sun beaming through. You don't want harsh sunlight on their skin or on their body at all. So you want nice soft light. Okay, a couple things to keep in mind when you are shooting your image is you do want to have your child holding something that's sort of like a handlebar. We aimed for kind of right at his armpit level, so he wasn't holding it too low or too high. And just something round, whatever you have laying around. If you don't have anything, you could maybe use a paper towel roll or something smaller even. Also, pay attention to what the feet are doing. I put this Lego here to raise his feet higher because I kind of felt like they were too low and dangly. But also when he put his feet on the ground, it made this bend in his shoe, which was it was visible. He was pushing against something. There was something underneath of his foot, and in the final image, his foot's going to be floating in the air, so it shouldn't have pressure on it. You shouldn't see bend. So then once you've shot your image, to get it into Photoshop, you're just going to go ahead and grab it. Just click on it, drag it right over top of our backdrop. Click this check mark at the top to apply it. And then we need to start working on the mask. I put him on this rocking horse because I felt like that mimicked what I needed the most. Or you can even just have him sit on the edge of a chair, which honestly may have been better because I can't even see his other shoe, and we're going to have to kind of create another one. So if you can learn from my mistake and do it so you can see both shoes, you might save yourself some time. On the layer with my child, I'm going to right click. I'm going to select rasterize layer, and then you also want to make sure that this is right here in this folder, so you can just drag it no matter where it's at. Just pick it up, drag it right into this one that says put your subject here, and that way you know it's on top of these other layers. We need to cut them out of the backdrop that they are on. So to start, we're going to come down here to this quick selection tool, and I'm just going to drag this around inside of my subject as close as I can to the edge. And you can change the size of your cursor before you start. So if you're having issues with it just not selecting what you want at all, your cursor may be too big. So right here I'm at 7 is the size of my cursor. So I'm going to zoom in. Now that I've let go of my cursor, these options come up here. You'll see this one has nothing on it. The one in the middle has a plus, and the one on the right is a minus. So this is how it will select the next time you click on it. So if I had this first one selected, it would just create a new mask every time I click. And the second one with the plus is going to add to the mask that I'm on. Okay, and the one on the right will subtract. So if I click or select more than I want, we'll just subtract from it. So we'll make sure the plus is selected, and we'll go around right inside the line. So I've selected the minus, and we're going to come up and get the rocking horse out of the picture if I can. That's pretty close. Okay, and then we have rocking horse here. Okay, we need to add in some more in the shoe, so I'll come up here and click the plus. Add in this little bit. Okay, we're going to subtract a little bit behind the shoe down here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add in this little bit too. Okay, looks pretty good. Now we do want to do a little bit of a better job on the hair. So with this mask selected, I'm actually going to just add in as much as I can first here. Okay, so now we're going to come up here to select and mask. Click this button. And then on the left, you want to make sure this refine edge brush tool is clicked on. And we are going to just go over the edge of his hair. Maybe a little bit down there. Okay. And then you can scroll all the way down here to the bottom. You have output 2, and there's options here you can choose from. So you have selection, or layer mask, or new layer. And I'm going to go ahead and do layer mask. Click on that. Click OK. And then now he's masked out. Okay, so we can grab the move tool up here, V for move, and we'll put him right on the pencil. I am going to resize him because I feel like he's a little too big. So we're going to click V for move and make him smaller. I already have this rocket put here. So I kind of have an idea of how big I want him, but you know, you can always change it for yours. It doesn't have to be the same as what I've got here. I think I'm going to lean him forward a bit more. No, I think I like it right there. Yeah, okay, I like that. So I'm going to click the check mark. Let's apply it. And so, yeah, so now we've got some work to do on this. And you'll see the mask didn't do like the best job. There's a little bit of an outline around his leg, and there's some extra stuff. So one thing you can do when the mask is just pretty close like that, but just off a little, you can come over here to your thumbnail of the mask. So we'll hold down Control, click on the thumbnail, and it's going to select that whole mask for you. And then you can come up here to select Modify, and then we're going to contract, make the mask a little smaller, maybe 2 pixels. And then I'm going to delete the layer mask, just right click, delete, and then create a new one, which is this button down here with the square and the circle cut out. And so it's just made the mask a little smaller, and look, that line is gone. The little bit that was over his leg, I think I just took, what, 2 pixels off? So I just made it a little shorter. And it, you know, it's pretty good at this point. I'm happy enough with that mask. His face is missing a little bit. So little areas like this, you could just grab a brush. I'm going to make it really tiny and a little hard, maybe, you know, 70–80%. And then we're going to paint back on with white. So come over here and click white. If you don't have white and black here, you can, you know, click on one and just drag it up with the eyedropper. So we're just going to add a little bit more to his face, because I do know my son doesn't have these dents in his face. Okay, so next we're going to fix this little bit of his leg that's hanging over the edge. And so to do that, I'm going to come down here to the folder labeled Rocket Pencil, click the arrow to expand it, and then I'm going to hold down Control on my keyboard and click on the first thumbnail that says Rocket Pencil. And that's going to highlight the selection. And then we're going to go ahead and grab a brush, so B for brush. Come up here to the layer with your subject in it. Click on the mask. And then we're going to paint with black right over these parts that we don't want to see. It's going to get a little tricky right here where his leg is. So I'm going to grab my pen tool, P for pen. I'm going to go ahead and select this part of his leg that I don't want to disappear. Thank you. Okay, we're going to trace out his leg, and we're going to come down here, and then back up, and then click on the first box so that we can connect it. Right click, make selection, and we're going to select subtract from selection. Click OK. And now if we go back to our brush, so B for brush, we can just color in, whoops, that part right there. Okay, now I'm going to hit Control D to deselect, and that'll put his leg behind the rocket. Okay, so now for his leg that's missing that we don't see, I'm going to just duplicate this layer. So I'm going to right click, select duplicate, click OK. And this time I'm going to take the one that's underneath, the bottom one, grab my move tool, so V for move. And I am just going to try to line up this back leg with that shoe that I can see. And then I'm going to come over here to this layer mask, click B for brush, and I'm just going, whoops, black. With black, I'm just going to erase the part that I don't want. Okay. And there's this bit down here. Okay, and then we're going to come up to this rocket pencil again, hold down Control, click on the layer with the rocket pencil, and then we're just going to erase this part of the leg. Control D to deselect. Alright, so this is what we're looking like now. Oh, I forgot about the rest of his body up there. Okay, so I'm going to grab my layer mask, B for brush. We'll just get rid of this bit of his body that's above the pencil. So there you go. Okay, so I'm just going to add some layers here to lighten them up. So I'm going to start down here with the adjustment layer. I'll come up and click levels. And this one we're just going to brighten him up. This box right here with the arrow, we'll clip it to the group underneath. So that way it's only lightening him up and not the whole image. Okay, and so we'll just bring it to there, maybe bring in the highlights a little bit. Yeah. And then there's these shadows on the back side of him that I kind of want to lighten up as well. So I'm going to grab another levels layer, clip it as well. And this time we're just going to lighten a little bit of the shadows. So we'll bring up the middle just a tiny bit. And then if I come over here to the mask, I'm going to hit Control I to invert it. Then grab a brush, so B for brush. So right click and bring the size, the hardness all the way down to 0. I'm actually going to make the size bigger, and you can do this with your bracket keys. And so we're going to switch to white on our brush, and I'm just going to brush these shadows on his back a bit. Just lighten up his back. And that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to create a new layer above it. So click this plus down here for a new layer. On the brush, we're going to grab black. I'm going to select layer blend mode. We're going to do multiply. So I'm going to click multiply. And I'm just going to also clip this. So right click and create clipping mask. So it'll apply just to layer with him in it. And this is just going to add a little bit of a shadow right on the back of his neck, you know, so that he has a bit of a shadow from the rocket. Okay, and then I'm going to go here to opacity, and I'm going to bring it down to, I don't know, 71%. Then I'm going to bring this up a lot higher and just add a little bit more in. Then I'm going to go to my layer mask, switch it over, and we're just going to back it off a little bit off of his face. Okay, so that's what this is looking like. There's just a little shadow now on his hair and on his neck and his shirt. Alright, and so there's one last thing that I want to change now, and that's the handle that he's holding is red, but it should be blue. So we're just going to grab a new layer. So hit the plus sign, we're going to clip it, so right click, create clipping mask, and then I'm going to brush, so B for brush, and I'm going to click on this swatch that's black, and we're going to sample a color that's blue from the picture, so probably this one is fine, and click OK. And then I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to change my brush hardness to like 100%, I guess, and I'm just going to try to select just that handle. The handle is actually red and it's creating a color cast here on his fingers. So I may end up doing this with a replace layer instead. But let's try this first. Okay, so we're going to click blend mode, and you can come down here and you can try either hue or color to see which one works best for your image, but usually hue is what I would do. And then I think I'm just going to go ahead and bring my hardness down all the way and maybe bring my opacity down as well. So up here at the top, you have opacity and maybe, I don't know, let's try 33%. And I'm just going to brush a little bit right on his fingers where I see that red glow. So now it'll be a blue glow instead. And there you have it. So now his handle is blue. You can always make this darker if you prefer a darker color. So you can stop there. We're all done. But I wanted to show you a way that you can change the colors as well. And I've added this hue saturation layer down here right at the very bottom. It's right above your background fill layer. And if you double click this circle at the front, it'll bring up your properties. And you can change the color of the backdrop this way. So if your kid loves green or orange or whatever, you can change the background to match that. So this top slider here, you can just drag it left or right to the color you would want. That blue looked really nice. Oh, there's pink, and kind of a rose, orange. So drag this. And if you're not quite seeing your color, let's say you want like pink. My kid loves pink. Not this kid. I have a girl who loves pink. And this is kind of a rose color, so you can come down here and play with the saturation and lightness until you get the exact hue you want. So if you go up on the saturation, it's more vibrant. Down, it's more, pastel, more subtle. And then you can bring your lightness up as well. So if I were going for pink for my little one, be something like this, right? So I'd bring my lightness up and my saturation. So you have to play with this to get the exact color that you want, but I just wanted to show you that option so you could pick any color from here that you like. Anyway, I hope that helps. I hope that you guys have awesome back to school photos this year. If you have any questions or feedback you want to leave, please send me a message. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Anyway, till next time. See you guys. Bye.